Good evening. You would like the light down, of course. Okay, thank you. Is that okay?
Yes.
Welcome. Lovely to have you here.
Thank you.
The pleasure is all ours, I think.
Good evening, Bernard.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. That's better.
Tuning in.
Yes, we have different energies in the room this evening, so we welcome our new friends. It's taken us a little longer to adjust.
It's fine.
To our new friends, please be aware that any sudden noises are very shocking to the instrument.
Almost feels as if there's someone else, like someone's gone through with their voice. I could be wrong, but it feels as if there's someone else there. Wanting to find the medium.
A new energy.
They explain that there's up to 1,000 potential communicators within this collective energy.
Yes, we should explain more that we are a collective group of spirits that blend together to create energy, to create a connection that we may speak to you through.
Bernard, is that you this evening? Your voice sounds slightly different.
Yes, it's several of us this evening, for the energies are very different in the room.
Okay.
Our friend here, the gentleman known as John, is a very powerful energy. So we are adjusting somewhat.
I'm sure he'll give you permission to eat as much of his energy as you need.
Feel free.
Yes, if only we could eat it, that would be rather fun, I think.
What freaked me out last week was when Bernard was telling me that they'd watched me punch the air when I got a hit in a demonstration.
And that's what you do, isn't it? Yeah, it's amazing.
That freaked me out slightly. I thought, oh God, they watch, they see everything.
Why would it freak you out?
Only as much as the knowledge that you see everything.
Well, we don't see it in the same way that you do, of course.
Okay, how is it different?
It's more knowing, for we do not have physical eyes, you see.
Okay.
So we do not see in the same way that you see, but we sense through your energy and auric field.
Okay.
As you punch the air, there's an energetic signature. Where certain areas of your brain light up, you see. So as you make your punching motion into the air like this, it has an effect that goes through the mind when it leaps with your form of ecstasy and joy, you see, and that gives off an energetic signature.
I'm even more embarrassed now, Bernard.
Why, my dear, would you be embarrassed?
Because it's not the done thing in a demonstration to do that, really.
No, as we mentioned before, it's very important that you enjoy your work and gain pleasure from it.
Okay.
And whilst that is very different from showing off, you see, and telling lots of people how wonderful you are. It's very different. There's nothing wrong with gaining pleasure and joy for what would be the fun, where would be the purpose otherwise. If it was merely a chore that you were performing, why would you do it? We say absolutely, slap you on the back and say enjoy every moment, my dear.
Bless you, thank you.
But do not be embarrassed whatsoever.
Thank you, that's really... Sometimes I need to be told twice, Bernard, if not 3 times.
Okay, my dear, I'll tell you again. And do punch with the other hand also.
At the same time, both of them?
Yes, why not? Double the fun.
Oh, to Mexican way.
Yeah!
Do you know what? It would help the energy though, seriously. Sometimes you need it in these times, you do.
No, you do, because people are so there's the seed of expectation, which is a pressure on the medium, I think, and then people are, it's like they're testing you.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're being flippant, of course, when we say punch the air and enjoy every moment.
I know.
But the reality is, of course, that you're reaching for joyous moments. And it is your born privilege to create joyous moments. For as we have mentioned in your previous weeks about your ability to manifest and enjoy your life and come here to do what you were actually designed to do, which was to joyously create and enjoy yourselves as you learn your lessons along the way. The more joyous moments that you reach for and revel in, the more you soar, the more your energy becomes positive, and the more good things you attract towards you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
From the previous lessons that we discussed.
So when you get sort of stressed and miserable, it's like a downward spiral.
Yes, misery creates more misery, does it not? And then that manifests as a electricity bill or something others that you're not looking for.
No, it's happened. Yeah.
Well, this is what we have said before about understanding the universal law.
Yes.
And about joyously creating and reveling in that joy. And then other things come to you that bring you more joy.
It was funny you say that, actually, just sort of a, not funny ha-ha, but interesting that you mention it. I had a milestone birthday not so long ago, and then the day after I received, and I wasn't looking forward to it at all, and then the day after I received a letter that I also wasn't looking forward to. and so based on what you said, sir, it's almost like I created the less the positive energy that I created with my anxiety around
Precisely.
birthday actually created the news that I received the following day. Which...
Well, why would you be upset about being 21?
You're too kind, Bernard, you're too kind.
If you knew how old you really were, of course. Many lifetimes that you have experienced. Then you might want to buy a fire extinguisher for that.
Is there a number of times that we can live a life?
That's a good question. No, there is no limitation, for you may come back as many times as you like until you have learned what you desire to learn. There is no limitation into this physical dimension or others. And when you have exhausted one physical dimension, you may move on to another that may be more arduous and challenging for you.
When you talk about physical dimension, are we talking extraterrestrial and things like that?
Well, there's an interesting subject I thought you'd never ask.
It's what I planned to ask about tonight.
Sorry, Claire.
No, because you're connecting in, that's what I mean.
No, obviously we're all getting on the same wavelength.
I try not to be
No, I want you to.
almighty.
What I mean is, you connected with a question I was going to ask, but you've asked it.
Yeah.
They know.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, good. It's good. Please continue.
So if you could all ask the question simultaneously,
All right.
it would be rather entertaining for us at the very least. Perhaps you could sing it.
I'm not singing, sorry.
Tonight they're on form.
We jest, but when you talk of extraterrestrial, what is extraterrestrial?
Beings other than humans.
In the physical dimension.
Yes.
Because don't forget, you are extraterrestrial.
Yes.
When you consider that your soul, your spirit, or as we discussed before, a fragment of your higher self, has chosen to incarnate into this physical dimension. There is no difference between you and what you would call an alien, for you both have a spirit. And you may incarnate into the human form from other dimensions. So you, for example, could be an alien sat amongst your peers. But how would you know the difference? For a spirit is a collective part of God. And each of you as a splinter can incarnate into different dimensions and different physical beings. So what really is an extraterrestrial? Are there other worlds? Are there other physical dimensions? Other planets in your universe where life similar to this exists? Yes, of course there are.
And do they visit here? Yeah.
Do they visit here in physical form?
Yeah.
Or are they sharing an experience such as I am talking to you now? Can they blend with your soul to experience the physical dimension here? Yes. Can they be born into a physical body here? Yes. Can they fly here in a spaceship if they so wish? Certain species have the capabilities to do that, yes.
So we have been visited here.
So the general answer to your question is yes.
So, how many species of interdimensional beings would you say there are?
Oh, there are many, too many to count. How many have come here is a different question.
So how many have come here?
I have not got a calculator with me to count them up, but let's say there are several different species.
Because one of the questions that came to me this evening, well actually through my husband, was, it's a very famous crash site, isn't it, in Roswell in America. And I wondered, is there a truth that there was something that was found there in Roswell?
Yes.
The Americans have this information.
Yes, why do you think your technology took a leap and bound?
Oh wow. It's interesting as to why they might have to keep it so secret.
Look at your technology for the last 2 million years compared to the last 50.
Yes, absolutely true, gosh.
Yeah, that is true. Gosh.
Yes, it is actually. It's an incredible quantum leap, isn't it?
An exponential leap of disproportion.
Ah, gosh, and that came from sort of alien, for want of a better word.
But you're also inspired, you see. It's not all about alien communication. It is part of your evolution to become an enlightened species.
Yes.
To start to understand that you're actually all one thing.
Yes.
Start to understand how to live in harmony and share your resources so that you may all prosper and enjoy your lives here.
Yes.
Start to understand what the true purpose of your life is, how you can joyously create and live in a truly paradise world. And that is why we wish to enlighten you, and we blend and communicate to help bring the whole species forward. For when you incarnate here, you are born with this knowledge, but it is wiped from your memory so that you may learn your lessons of development.
So with the interdimensional beings, do they all come with love and harmony in their hearts? Or
No, there is a mixture of the two.
Rather like on the earth, there's
Yes, precisely. They have their own evolutionary pathways and learning to do. And there are different levels of development.
Will there ever be a time where they become very obvious in our human life? Will they materialize or manifest in our lives? And, so we end up living side by side but with them, for example?
There will come a time when your development starts to catch theirs. And then there will be great change. For you will be able to sense mentally. Your intuition will develop further and continue to develop further. Have you noticed the sea change that is happening already? More and more people wishing to train in your mediumship.
Yes.
More and more people becoming sensitive and aware and no longer being ridiculed for their awareness.
Yeah.
And more people developing their sensitivities in groups like this, in teacher training, etc., etc. Your awareness is exponentially growing.
So is there a fixed path for humankind? For example, do we have to learn to live in harmony on the planet before we can interact and harmonise with other beings?
Correct, young man. That is a very good point. And it is a true statement. Although there will always be fragments, there will always be individuals within you who leap further ahead than others who will become aware. But the rest will not believe them, of course.
like Tesla and Einstein.
Correct.
And now we are aware that a lot of their theories that we are now becoming aware of were all very true, and they were.
And there will be more masters born amongst you.
Would we be more open and aware to that now because of our minds opening?
Yes, for you start to understand in your species. There is no difference between a master and yourself. It is merely knowledge and enlightenment. Physically you are identical.
So, do the world leaders, I've always had a theory, and it's probably wrong, that there was communication of alien life forms, say to the President of America. Is that something that's happening?
Do aliens communicate with the President at the moment? Is that what you're asking me?
Yes.
Not in the same way as you think. They are not in open verbal communication.
Yes.
But they do communicate with world leaders mentally to influence your planet.
Yes. There's almost like a telepathic influence.
Correct.
Yes, for the good.
Correct.
But that's almost like how spirit communicate with us.
Correct. And what is the difference in answer to your first question? Do aliens live amongst us? Well, you are aliens.
Yeah.
For you have all come from another place and inhabited a physical body, have you not?
Yes.
So you are all aliens.
Is it easier for us to harmonise amongst like our friends as it is to understand and harmonise with alien beings?
The only difficulty you would have is your acceptance in your own mind. But there is technically no difference.
I suppose our whole development's been about acceptance, isn't it? You train with the different races.
Your racism, acceptance, and belief of anything different to yourselves is something that you need to address on your evolutionary path to gain the knowledge and wisdom to see the spirit within is the same, irrespective of the outer casing.
Yes.
Definitely.
When your species can accept this by and largely, then you will be made aware of greater differences.
Okay.
Will the human race ever become extinct?
That is up to you.
Okay.
If the Earth imploded now, which it's not going to hopefully, what would be the effect on the cosmic energy or on the great creative force or the force we want to call God, whatever word we want to put on it? So if the Earth ceased to be, what would happen?
Nothing.
Okay.
Your souls would return and incarnate elsewhere.
Okay.
For many planets and suns are born and blown up across the universe through your black holes, etc.
Yes.
You've said about black holes. Could you explain in a terminology that we would understand in this state what black holes are?
Not simply. Before there is a great physical understanding you would need first.
Okay. There are actually theories that we've kind of, that has been put forward recently in respect that they may be portals to different dimensions, etc. Is that a possibility?
Not as a portal to a different dimension, for you have to understand the space-time continuum
Yeah.
to understand the nature of a black hole and the material, for want of a better term, that exists within the black hole, how it is a reverse of your current matter. And therefore you can travel between them. They are not doorways for you to travel through as such, for they are unpredictable.
Okay, thank you.
I'm seeing, I wouldn't describe it as your auras, particularly, Ruth, is it?
Martina?
No, the lady next to Martina. Jane, bless you. It's like you've got steam rising from the top of your head.
Yeah, it's because we're talking about the travelling in the universe, and I was very poorly, nearly passed a couple of times, and during that time I felt I travelled through space to a particular place. That's what I was thinking of.
Oh wow.
So that's really my question, but I don't know how to phrase it.
So you were in transition a couple of times.
Yeah.
And you experienced different dimensions.
Yeah.
Or you felt you did. So your question is, did you?
I suppose so, because it's still very, very vivid. So yes, I travelled through the stars to a certain place. So was I travelling home? Did it happen?
The answer is yes, my dear. Of course it happened. Well, the fact it's vivid within your memory shows you that it is real. And the fact that you were shown this, you were shown for a purpose. You see, to gain wisdom and knowledge again along your pathway. And your entire existence here is predetermined before you arrive by you. So that step in your pathway, you programmed in. But it has opened up your curiosity, has it not?
Yes.
It has opened up your belief structure in an afterlife.
Yes. It took away any fear.
Correct.
And also, because if I'm walking, I will always look to the stars, and I feel that's home.
Yes, it may be a whimsical feeling, or it's a different dimensional world we are talking about here, but theoretically, you see, we always assume that you go up to heaven, do you not?
Yeah.
We always think of heavens up in the stars somewhere, but of course the reality is it is just an alternative dimension to where you currently are. When you no longer have a physical body and exist in the physical world, you vibrate at a much higher frequency, which is why you do not see the spirits around you, yet some of your mediums do. But they have the ability to increase their vibrational energy, to give them glimpses of a higher frequency world that coexists around them.
Okay. With the movement that I felt before, another question that's in my mind is that people refer to Atlantis many years ago. Is it fiction, Atlantis, or is it a true place?
It is partly both.
Okay.
There was a civilization far in advance of yours, with a deeper understanding of the metaphysical world. And there was also what you would call a tsunami and seismic movement with plate tectonics in your sea floors, which moved land masses. So that part is true. But much has been written about supernatural powers and all sorts of things that is not true.
So it was a civilization?
Yes, there was an advanced civilization. There have been several actually in your existence on this planet.
Does that include civilizations like the Mayans?
Yeah, the Mayans were not that advanced, but yes.
Okay.
The Egyptians.
The Egyptians were advanced technology. Well, they were not in themselves advanced, but they were influenced by advanced technology.
How did that come about, that influence of advanced technology?
In the sense of mentally connecting with them. If you're asking why did they build the pyramids, they were built as communication devices.
Right.
For each of your pyramids is like a map key.
Okay.
Tells a visitor all the information that they may wish to know about your planet.
It's hard to understand that.
I was trying to get my head around it. So, visitors to our planet can be in the atmosphere and see the pyramids from and that then provides them with information about Earth.
Correct.
But only about Earth as it was then, not as it is now.
Correct. But this is not the same thing, for it is not about your sophistication, it's not about your ITV News or your President of America, it is about the physical dimensions of the planet, the rotation of the planet, the size of the planet. All that type of geographic information is stored within the mathematics of the pyramid.
So the Egyptians that designed those pyramids, were they...
The Egyptians did not design those pyramids.
Ah, so there's the next question. Who
Who did?
Who designed the pyramids?
The race that wished to have the information at their fingertips that they would put on various different planets on their travels.
So they inspired the architect through that sort of telepathy that you mentioned to build in the way that they did, to design, they didn't do the building, but to design those structures in the way that they did.
Was there a question there?
I don't know, we lost that. Sorry.
There was a programme there that I watched on the pyramids, and it is like literally to the precise measurement of something to do with the earth. I forgot what it was.
I see that, and there was actually theories that beings did actually come down and actually physically work with them, hence some of the hieroglyphs are so tall and have different features and things like that. Or so was it that, or was it a communication thing?
It is both. The height of the pyramid and the ratio to the base area relates to the dimensions of your planet and the rotation that it revolves at.
Wow, that's fascinating.
It is a scale.
Wow.
So there were, because like I say, one of those ones when we watched the documentaries was actually a theory that there were actually beings that did actually come here, visit, and to help them to establish and build what was needed.
Can I ask about the hieroglyphics and writing on the wall? Was that a humankind thing then, or was it, I don't know, intergalactical writing? Because you don't understand all of the language that's written on the tablets from that time.
Hybrid species between humanoid and aliens that wrote the hieroglyphics. A form of notes, if you like.
So were these visitors the basis for the Egyptian gods because of their advanced technology?
Correct. They were worshipped as powerful beings, as gods.
And this is why they're always depicted as being bigger than the people. The way they are portrayed with masks, were they actually masks, or were the beings that came actually in the form of animals as well as human?
A simple race of people were liking things to their surroundings that they could make sense of.
Yeah. Right. So like the Native Americans, where they are very much connected to animals and take on that from the totems and all that kind of stuff.
Can you imagine, for example, if you took one of your sports cars back to ancient Egypt now and drove around?
Yeah.
How would they draw pictures of you?
Yeah, I see.
I had an experience, Bernard, once where I was in the British Museum and I went to see the Egyptology collection, and I was excited to go see it. It was something that I'd always wanted to view, but actually when I was walking around the exhibition, the sense of sadness and anger that I knew wasn't mine, it felt like it was coming from the sarcophaguses. Excuse me, I can't quite get the words right.
Yes.
Was that because I was feeling their energy and the fact that they'd been disrupted and they were in the wrong place? And I struggle with that because I realised that as souls they'll have gone home by now. So they were I still felt that energy in the exhibition.
Yes, it was not the energy from being moved as an exhibition, it was the energy that was stored in the sarcophaguses from the very burial process and all the sadness that went with their own death.
Okay.
It was trapped into the sarcophaguses, and they were a very spiritual race. Much like your haunted houses today, where there is spirit activity or there is a ghost, which is just energy stored in the building, in the fabric of the molecules and atoms.
So I was feeling like
so you were seeing
energy.
a ghost, the residual energy. And don't forget, there were hundreds of thousands of people who would mourn the death of their leader. So there's a very powerful amount of energy focused into a single spot.
Because I felt absolutely terrible walking away, as in not, just that it wasn't the it wasn't the experience.
The opposite of what you were expecting.
Yes, yeah.
So that they're not actually trapped, it is just residual.
Yes. And there is also much fear, of course, also stored there.
And
They would execute slaves in tribute to a leader because they supposed that the slaves' spirits would then accompany the leader in death and pave the way for them to the other side. So the leader needed all those souls souls to carry them through. So there was great fear amongst the people surrounding the death, which is also stored and associated with the sarcophagus.
So I appreciate that I may well, as a sensitive, have picked up on that energy, but once you've picked up on something like that, and that happens with, people you come across in day-to-day life as well, or object, what, as people who are sensitive, what are we supposed to do with that knowledge and that energy once we've been bombarded by it?
There is no task to perform.
Okay.
It is merely awareness for you.
Okay.
A practiced hour, if you like, for in the same way when you meet one of your friends and you sense great sadness with them, you are able to ask and comfort them in a gentle way. But it's the same skill for your reading energy.
Okay.
Whether it's energy in a table or energy in a person, it is still molecules and atoms, you see. As we've discussed before, you're in a vibrational world of your molecules and atoms, are you not?
Yeah.
And when you look smaller than molecules or atoms into your quantum world, you will have to start to understand how matter is affected by your thoughts and feelings. In fact, your whole world is built on thoughts and feelings. It is expanding at a huge rate of knots on collective thoughts and feelings, which is why collective consciousness is such a powerful thing in change.
Can I just ask, because this is my first time, and it might have been asked already, have you ever had a female incarnation, or has one of the collectives ever been female?
Many times, yes.
Because your face keeps changing.
Hair's gone chocolate brown too.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yes,
There's a woman
there are many of us here, and we have each experienced both sexes.
Okay.
We find it easier to talk through the male voice box with a male representation, for it might freak the instrument out if the lady's voice is saying
Spirit eyes too.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah,
Quite,
very active tonight.
We will also be showing female faces for you, despite the beard of the instrument.
That would be great.
Which should be more evidential for you, actually. Unless, of course, the lady was in the circus.
Can I ask another question? We've got time for that.
Yes.
There's just something I was interested in. So I know a Dutch medium who works with another trance medium like yourself and brings through artists and painters. And I was fascinated by that thought, and I started to wonder, within your own collective, are you more scientific? Are you artists? Is there a complete mix of communicators within your collective, or are you more biased towards the scientific side of things?
We are more biased towards scientific, for we are like-minded beings. You see, we form into soul groups.
Yes.
As we mentioned before, of like-minded beings. For we resonate at the same frequency then, and we share and experience the same joys, the same topics of discussion.
Wow. I felt that. I thought that was scientific. Wow.
Well done, my dear.
Yeah, it comes to me the other day. It's like, whoa, wow, interesting.
I, for one, though, am the least scientific person I know. Does that does that matter?
Not to us, my dear, for we're not blending with you, are we? In a direct sense.
No.
Well, we did explain on the first session that all of your guides are now connected with our collective group. So each of you will benefit from our collective knowledge via your guides. You will be inspired and gain wisdom, just as we are inspired and gain wisdom from your guides also.
Interesting. This week I was talking to a friend of mine about because she said to me, "Where'd you go on a Thursday? You just disappear." Because she was next door, so she sees me disappearing. So I said, "Oh, it is." Sort of gave her an overview. I can't even remember what I said, and she said, "Well, what's to that?" I said, "Well, I go and I talk to the collective, and it was almost as if I know them and they belong."
and I belonged. And I thought, what am I saying? It was like I wasn't actually speaking. So it's really interesting. I had a moment.
Yes, you did, didn't you? It was a good moment.
It was, because I didn't feel like I was even in the room.
What is part of your trust? You see, the more you learn to let go of worries and concerns and fears of others and be true to yourself,
Sure, thank you.
the more you trust that your path is perfectly laid out in front of you, the more you will start to enjoy your path and everything will align for you. When you let go of all your worries and fears and anxieties and stresses, everything starts to change. And it is very easy said, of course, but we suggest strongly that you try. But as we said before, the worst thing that you perceive that can happen to you is that you will die. And the news flash was you're going to die anyway. So is there any point in worrying about it?
I suppose we worry about not so much the going home,
The leaving behind, of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
but also wanting to transition in a peaceful way rather than anything traumatic or painful.
Yes, again, that you have determined your exit before you came.
Okay, because that in itself is a lesson, the way we part.
You can be, yes. If you wish to experience a method of exit, then you may.
Sounds really fun. Experience a method of exit. Sorry, I'm not laughing. It's just an interesting way of...
It's not how they call it in the hospital, is it?
Beat me up, Scott.
Yeah.
When you understand the leaving behind is relatively minor, when you compare how many friends and loved ones you have waiting for you at home that you cannot recall right now. Of course there is sadness and loss at leaving your friends behind, your children, your partners, but you will return, you see. Anytime you wish, you may be stood next to them.
So the method of exit, would a suicide be predetermined, or was that be because
No,
you
a
set yourself
suicide
up too
is a
hard?
failure. A suicide is you not completed your mission. And we discussed suicide, so forgive me to the others for reiterating. If you commit suicide, then you will be sat down with what we will call a counsellor to discuss where it went wrong, why you needed to bail out early and return home, and then you will be returned to live that lifetime again.
So you can still learn the lesson again. Right?
Yes, you will come back to complete the lessons you set out to achieve, and you will be born back to the exact same point.
Okay.
It is not linear. Time is not linear as you understand it. It is circular.
Can I ask something? I had an experience once in a castle where I just felt something really evil was there, and I shouldn't walk down this little walkway which was all walled in, and it came to a little room at the end, and when I looked down this little corridor, I felt this overwhelming feeling of fear that I should not go down there. I was with my partner, and I suddenly felt as though if he was with me, I would be okay. And we walked down together, and we went into this little room, which was apparently where the archers used to stand, looking over the gate. And I still felt like this horrible energy was trying to get at me, but couldn't because my partner was with me. Is that real, or is that just me imagining that?
No, that is very real. Well, this is an interesting topic of conversation we are entering into now. The age-old question, does evil exist?
Yes.
And that's usually followed by, does hell exist? Which one shall we start with?
Is this not heaven or hell, or current existence? Or?
No, it is neither. Yes, evil does exist in the sense of there are positive vibrational creatures, there are negative vibrational creatures. or lower frequency, shall we say. There are higher vibrational creatures, and each of you will vibrate at different levels as your moods change, as you get good information or bad information, so your vibrational energy will alter, but within a range. There are higher vibrational creatures, which some of you might call angels. And there are lower vibrational creatures, also known as elementals or jinns.
My father said that he experienced a jinn in his younger days. He stayed in a room in a barracks, and when he woke up they'd thrown him off the bed because they didn't want him in the room.
Yes.
The jinn said, "It's my room, I don't want you here." And then he was lying there and he woke up and he saw this man lying next to him, and it was a jinn saying, "This is my place, go away."
The jinns aren't necessarily negative energy though, are they?
They are in
They're
the
not
Asian
necessarily.
culture.
Are they?
They can be very negative.
Oh, okay, I didn't realise that.
They'll come into your room and bang and crash around and tell you to go.
So they're
They'll
just
want you there.
mischievous. And what?
Well, no, they decide that's their area and they don't want
Okay.
you in it.
What's their purpose?
They live alongside you,
Okay.
but they don't want you in their space.
But
So
it is
they
not
just-
exactly true.
It's something like that. Yeah.
Yes, they coexist. They are in a lower vibrational dimension to you, which is why you cannot see them. It is a little bit like your glasses at the cinema that are polarized to allow you to see a certain view from one eye and a different view from the other to make a 3D image. In this vibrational energy, your senses and awareness excludes higher vibrational creatures and lower vibrational creatures, which is why you do not see spirits floating around you everywhere, and why you do not see lower vibrational creatures, although you may sense them in your auric field. Hence you may get a huge rush of energy that makes you soar with joy and happiness. When a higher vibrational creature steps into your auric energy, or your spirit guide may even go and get hold of a lower vibrational creature and stand it in your auric field to warn you of impending danger. And it is much like physics with magnets or batteries, where a lower vibrational creature will attract all of your energy in your auric field, much like water tries to balance itself out, so you'll have a huge surge of energy in a negative way that will fill you with panic and danger. So your spirit guide may pull a jinn or elemental to stand it next to you to warn you of something coming that you need to look out for. And you will say, "Oh my God, what's going on? I feel terribly panicked right now. I need to get home," or whatever it may be. But they coexist in a dimensional field, and they are largely unaware of you as you are unaware of them. But just in the same way that mediums can alter their frequency to see spirit, you can also alter your frequency to be aware of more dangerous things.
Can anyone see the mist on the medium's left-hand side of his face?
His left or right?
Towards the wall.
Okay. When I make like a tunnel with my eyes, when I soften my vision, I don't know why, but it's the time I can see a profound spirit face. But I can certainly see energy. The spirit eyes almost manifesting more even as we speak about them, I do believe. Can you see that? Gosh, the face is really changing now. Wow. The hair also looks to have changed colour, so I don't know whether it's like refracting
There's
the
almost
light.
really light shining on from here, like the face has got been powdered.
Really, like a powdery, like
A white
house on powder sort of thing.
Yeah.
May I just ask something on that line that we were just talking about? With the jinns or the lower level frequency beings, should we fear them? Are they dangerous to us? And if they are, how can we protect ourselves?
Because they try and focus where we can see. But they said eventually they will be able to do that and speak at the same time.
No, it's fine. Bernard it does usually tell us when he's doing that, but obviously because I suppose we were concentrating on that being done, he's allowed that to just
Yeah,
allow.
I think that's why he hasn't answered. Or there's someone else coming forward. Or just to keep acknowledging the phenomena that we see.
I've just seen the face has been fluid all night.
They're just passing through so many faces.
Everything's changing from sex, from age, from hairstyles.
On the third week we had a face that appeared which was so profound. I've never seen anything so amazing in all my life. It was quite incredible, but it was silence. And it was quite amazing. I was like, whoa, even more than what you can see now actually. I also saw, I should have acknowledged as the medium was speaking twice, really, just the way I see orbs, it's just as a little violet light. I don't know why, but I always see them that way. And it flashed twice, bang, bang on the medium's face. So I should have acknowledged
I thought that was something from outside. I never mentioned it, but I saw a couple of sparks.
Like a spark.
Like a little purple spark.
You saw it as well, John. Me too, like profoundly.
So that's from different angles as well.
Yes, but it was very bright, so momentarily, a couple of seconds, and then it's gone. Okay, I'm going to say, looking at the medium now, there's an immense sort of change happening facially. I can almost feel like the skin has become black.
I can't actually see.
On my side, it's like, I can't really verbalise it. Yes, like obviously our medium has white skin, but it looks like the skin has gone completely black from half of the face. Can anyone else see that?
I can see a shadow this side.
It comes from the top of the forehead, around the face. I don't know, it's just like a shadow of energy, but it's a different colour that I saw before. I have just turned the light down, so that may have an effect, but I saw it very strongly. With our eyes open, the changes that we can actually witness. Yeah, it's all gone dark around this side of his face.
There's
like profound.
There's a wave. I don't know if that's the right. I wouldn't call it a blob, but that's not a very nice word. Like a blob of dark energy.
Yes.
On his shoulder.
Yes.
I don't know whether these guys are
Whoa,
seeing
look at this. Can you see?
No, I can barely see him at all actually since you turned the light down.
I felt telepathically that they wanted me to
Yeah,
turn it down, and they said yes.
They did nod yes, but I can't actually, I can barely see the face at all now from here.
Sometimes what happens is the face will lose its features first before the new features then present. Wow, look at those eyes. Oh my gosh. Can you see that?
Are they open?
Are these spirit eyes?
Did he
Wow.
have his glasses on?
I'm not sure that the medium's open his eyes or whether they're spirit eyes.
Oh, it's a young man.
Yes, definitely.
Young
Oh,
man, almost a child almost.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, so nice to meet you.
Wow. You feel?
You see the eye? Are they open?
Well, I can't quite work out whether they're physically open or not.
They are. I'll just see
Yeah, they
what
are.
it says.
See the glow.
Looking round at us all.
But I have seen it before where the eyes were closed but the eyes manifested on the
On
top
the
and
eyelids.
looked to be open.
Open.
Hello.
What a beautiful sense. Hello, friend. It's wonderful to see you. You're doing so well. We can see you.
I can see you.
Have you come for anyone here specifically? Okay. Are you pointing towards John? Yes. Would you like John to approach you?
No.
No. Okay. Okay, but you're here for John. Can you see this change here? It's like a younger man.
Yeah.
But
Blush in the dark.
this is a big change basically that I can see. Wow.
Do you have straight dark hair? So
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Very dark hair on the top. John.
Black, long thin face.
Yeah, long thin face. Look at
Do you
you.
know who I think
Yeah.
it is?
I was wondering the same.
Yeah. Can I name them?
Certainly.
Hello, Jason. Is
Yes,
that
I
you?
think so too.
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
That's a lovely
A
smile.
beautiful smile for you.
That is. Hello, lovely.
Beautiful.
Hello.
Hello, Jason. You are so welcome. Ah, you're speaking too. Wow. You've come to see John and Lucia. How beautiful.
Love you, Jay. We both love you. You arse. You see the smile? Is that just me?
No.
Beautiful smile, Lucia.
Smile.
Absolutely beautiful smile.
Beautiful smile.
Wow. You were very good looking on the earth, I think.
He
He
was.
was.
Handsome.
Yes.
Very dapper.
He likes that. He likes that.
Are you dapper in spirit, Jay? You can wear what you like.
Would you like the light turned up slightly, Jay, or not? Is that a no?
Can you see his jaw?
Yeah.
This is incredible.
Yeah, definitely.
When you see, like, literally the change.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
You make me cry, you
God, you're
git.
doing amazing.
He's looking in such love and
Yeah,
much
the
beautiful
emotion's
energy.
immense.
Yeah. Oh my God. You're all right, John.
Yeah.
So much love.
Have you just come to have a nosy?
If you notice the arms starting to move now.
Yeah.
The energy around the left hand seems almost to be blurring the hands slightly.
Your energy, Jay, must be so strong for you to be able to do
For
this.
sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's what your face walks.
Was he interested in all of this
Oh,
John,
yeah.
before?
He was just, well, he'd taken quite a development before he left, yeah.
Yeah. Still there.
Yes.
Bearing in mind the medium's hair is white.
Yeah. It's black.
Can we see the colour of it? I don't think
Definitely black.
that's by chance, is it? I don't see how that could
No, it's very
It's so dark. It's almost
It's
black.
so different, yeah.
I'm going to say it again, Jason, because I'm a bit overwhelmed right now. I love you. We love you.
That's fantastic.
And we
And
feel
also,
you
not being
around.
funny, but it looks like that film increased in size.
You're fantastic.
We miss you.
He's always around.
I know.
Thank you. I'll do that.
That's really touching.
It's a special present.
Can you not message me when I'm on the toilet, though?
That's beautiful.
That was lovely.
That was really beautiful. You knew who it was before, didn't you?
Yeah.
Before it was said, I felt a surge of energy come off you that gave me tingles.
Yeah.
I thought it was me, but then
And I was thinking it, and
realised
then
it was
Lucia
after
said
you.
it.
No, again, I don't know, it's just from this angle, but literally, like, there's a dark, completely different colour skin that I can see.
I can see.
I'll give you chocolate.
Oh, sure. Not all half of these, but you
Oh,
can
look at this
colour
face
the
scar.
face.
Yes,
Yeah.
wow, look at this now.
Yes. Oh,
Wowie, there's a very strong face starting to
There
manifest
is.
now. A big burly sort of black, thick hair on the top, spirit eyes. I can see energy moving. Wow, wowie.
big brown face.
It's almost like in the darkness we can see the illumination of the energy more to maybe pick it out.
Yeah.
I can tell when the collective comes back in because then they control the breathing very deeply.
Yeah.
Whereas the breathing seems to be very soft and gentle when our relatives come through.
Yes.
So you just got like a little tash at the top, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like a little hair
Yes.
tash.
Yeah.
It's definitely a change of energy, which is all.
Oh, definitely.
Yes. And it's just the sense, isn't it, as well? It's just so beautiful.
One day I didn't bring a tissue.
I'd share it with you, but you've made me cry.
I should put them in the room. I will put that on my little list, actually. Sorry.
Little part.
Moving of the left hand, stretching out of the hand. Almost like a focus on the hands and fingers. Do they look like they're changing?
Growing.
They're growing.
Yeah. Getting
Is that not
longer.
just me?
Oh my God, look, he's come.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
It's huge.
Oh my gosh. Right. Okay, what's happening here then?
Wow, that's
Can you
incredible.
see that?
Oh my God, that's nice.
Moving in weird ways.
There's like,
Oh my
And
gosh.
it's kind of gone red, doesn't it?
It has
It's
gone
really
right,
red.
hasn't it?
Did you talk about the hand?
yes, the energy around that.
There's another hand, I'm sorry.
What's that?
I swear to God, I
Two
saw
hands.
another hand.
What do you mean?
Like,
There's two hands.
Yeah,
there's
mirror image.
Maybe you've got three hands.
Three hands, yeah. It just for a flash.
Oh my gosh.
Like a blue light around the hand, well, on you very
Can you see the whole thing has changed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're almost
It's
empty.
massive.
That thumb is huge.
That's massive, yeah.
The camera looks bigger.
And the whole round is like changing how it looks. Oh my gosh, the first finger has grown as well now.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
Oh,
It's what it is. It's just showing that they can use their energy and phenomena to create physical changes that we can see with our eyes open. Just as because they're experimenting, you see, as scientists in the spiritual realm as to what they can achieve through the medium.
that is stunning.
That's amazing.
Thank you for doing that.
So the big hand is massive, but the finger
Does,
is
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that gap between the thumb and the first finger.
It's almost like the thumb's become the first finger.
Yeah.
From this angle. Does that make sense?
God.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
Because what can happen, Rookie, eventually is they can create a manifestation of a spirit person, literally separate from the medium, who can actually interact with us.
Wow.
That's the amazing possibility. And some mediums are also created.
It's reducing again now to
Oh, thank you, the energy in that was
the blue light's going back up the arm.
They can always create direct voice phenomena as well. But our medium is doing very, very well.
hard.
Very, very well. And it's been better, I think, this evening because we have more. This is the most we've had.
more energy.
Yeah. So there's a need for people, lots of people to come in.
feel this energy being taken tonight as well.
I do.
I just feel there's more energy being taken from us.
I was going to say maybe you need to be Herbert.
Hello.
You know what, Herbert? We're all a little bit in love with you, Herbert.
I always look forward to seeing you again.
I'm in love with all of you.
Thank you.
Yes. Did you like that?
That's incredible, Herbert.
Stunning. Ectoplasm.
Oh, wow.
Yes, we're stretching. Stretching.
You made your fingers longer.
Yes.
We can see it.
That was amazing, yeah.
And on the shoulder. On the shoulder.
Yes.
That's forming a voice box.
Oh my God. That was quite a massive dark energy, Herbert, on your shoulder.
Yes, we want to speak directly.
I could see that energy manifest.
Could you?
Yes, I could literally see it. Wow, that's very exciting, Herbert.
Takes time.
Of course. Time and patience.
Yes.
We can be patient.
We want to thank you all.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Would you like me to close in prayer, Herbert, or?
Yes, we are mindful of your time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Herbert. We really appreciate your presence.
And we say God bless and good night.
God bless you. Good night.